evening. Well, for me, it's good evening, good afternoon, or good morning, depending on where you are. Thank you so much for joining us for our pause in the middle of the week. And this is very much an hour for you. And it's an hour for you to connect with your breath in whatever way you need to connect with your breath this evening. We will obviously guide you, but anything that we offer this evening is an invitation. The important thing, well, there are actually two important things. The first important thing is that you are comfortable throughout this. This is a time for you to be comfortable. And if we invite you to a breath style, and I would suggest you try it, but if this evening it just doesn't feel right, then please let it go. But I would ask you to be conscious of your breath. So to keep as much of your focus on your breath, whether you're doing the breath style that we've invited you to or you're not, keep as much of your focus on your inhale and your exhale as you can in the moment. For people who haven't been here before, our structure is the same every week. We do 4 different breath styles. We begin with some birdsong. And in the birdsong, we will introduce the breath style to you. There'll then be 6 minutes of music where you can experiment with that breath style. We will still offer some guidance and, be curious with it. See how it works best for you. And then there'll be 2 minutes of silence. And the silence is for whatever comes up in the silence. Whether that is to continue the breath style, whether that is to let it go, the silence is yours. There'll be no guidance in the silence. The silence is yours. So this evening we're going to begin with breath awareness. Our second breath style then it's a mix. There's going to be short breath holds, which Sharon will lead and explain to you when the time comes. I'm then going to do breath with self-soothing touch, which is very good for your nervous system, but I'll tell you more about that when that time comes. And we're going to finish with coherence breath. So those are the 4 styles. And again, experiment with them. Be curious with them. And enjoy it. So get yourself comfortable. You can do this sitting up. You can do this lying down. If you are sitting up, maybe make sure that you're supported and that you're safe. And also, if you're lying down, make sure that whatever you're lying on is not too high and that you're compressing your neck and all the tubes inside that allows the breath to flow. But again, being comfortable. Comfort is real rest, I think, requires comfort. And we want this to be real rest. So we want you to be comfortable. Okay, so I will get started. Let me start the music. Well, the bird song. So just get yourself comfortable and just take a moment and take 2 breaths just to arrive here. And before we begin focusing on our breath, we're going to just look at everything else and just leave things aside for the next while. So as you lie or sit, just notice your body. Bring your attention into your body. And notice what's there for you this evening. Maybe there's tension or tightness, or maybe there's pain, tingling or lightness, or something else completely. And when you do notice it, try not to let your mind go into analysis or judgment or criticism. Just notice it. It's there and it's perfect. And bring your attention to your mind and your thoughts. And maybe there's a lot of thoughts racing around and maybe there's not. But again, just notice them and just let them be. And notice any emotions that are there. How do you feel? And again, we're just noticing. We're not trying to change it. There's no ideal one, there's no good one or bad one. They just are. Just notice. And now bring your attention to your breath. And notice where you feel your breath this evening. And maybe find a point of focus. And just rest your attention there. As you inhale and exhale, without changing anything. And maybe the very act of noticing will bring change, and that's okay. Allow it to be what it is. And maybe your attention is drifting, and if you notice it, just bring it back gently. Back to that point of focus, back to your breath. Keeping your attention on your breath as you inhale and exhale. Not feeling the need to be doing anything. Just gently focusing on your breath and allowing it to flow whatever way it flows this evening. And as we go into the last minute, if your attention has drifted, just gently bringing it back. Inhale and your exhale. And as the music begins to fade, getting ready for your first time of silence this evening.
And as the bird song brings us back from that couple of minutes of silence, just notice how that felt. Both the silence and then the introduction again of bird song. And in our next segment of this breath sequence, I'm going to invite you to bring in some mini breath holds. And just allowing ourselves a pause. And maybe lengthening that pause at the top or at the bottom of the breath. And doing so with absolutely no push or strain, no anxiety, We're not going to any edges, we're just introducing a pause. And doing this over time builds up our resilience. And that's what I'm inviting you to today. Kind of gentle pauses that just lets the body know that it's okay just to rest. No inhale, no exhale, just a pause. So you can do this in a line. So inhaling, pause, exhaling, pause. Or you can make shapes with your breath. You can do this with a triangle. Inhale, exhale, pause. Or you can do this with a rectangle. Inhale for 4, hold for 2, exhale for 4, hold for 2. Or you can do the traditional square, where all of the sides are equal. The inhale, the pause, the exhale, and the pause. So I really invite you to explore during the next 6 minutes or so. First, choose your shape. And then remember, gentle, no pushing, just an invitation to resilience. Maybe you might like to try a different shape. Maybe you just want to return back to your natural breath for a little while and just reflect on how those mini pauses, those mini breath holds felt. Maybe you caught yourself pushing a little bit and moving towards your edges as you were holding the pause. So just pull back a little and be gentle. Be gentle with yourself, be gentle with the breath. And we're in the last 2 minutes of this segment now, so maybe pick a different shape and gently introduce those mini breath holds. And let your body be your guide. Maybe your squares are not quite square, or your triangles are a little wonky, and that's okay. You just follow your body and let your body and your breath be your guide. We don't do perfect here, we do gentle. We're in our last 30 seconds now before we move into silence once again.
And as the birdsong begins again, reflecting on that silence, maybe considering, was it different to the first silence? Or was it exactly the same? Maybe it was both. And for our next breath style, I'm going to invite you to bring in some very, very gentle movement, because we can use our breath to bring us into our parasympathetic nervous system. But when we couple it with some self-soothing touch, it really works better. And I'm going to invite you to choose how you want to do this. So you can either start with your hands on your shoulders, and as you exhale, gently bring your hands down to your elbows. And as you inhale, take your hands back up to your shoulders. And as you exhale, bring your hands down. But if that feels like it's too much effort, you can just rub the palms of your hands together slowly as you inhale and exhale. And you can find your own rhythm with this. Or the third one, if you prefer to do it, is just taking your hands from your forehead down to your chin. And maybe experiment with all three and find the one that feels most comforting for you this evening to match with your breath. And keeping your breath gentle and soft as you do this. And keeping your touch gentle, but focusing on that breath and on that sensation as you gently, gently, gently every touch that feels right for you this evening. And go between the three. Feeling the sensation of the touch as you match it with your breath. Every way feels right for you. Keeping your focus gently on the touch and on your breath. And keeping the touch gentle and soft, just like your breath. And experimenting with it and being curious. Keeping the breath gentle and soft. And if your mind has wandered, just gently bringing it back for the last 90 seconds. Just gently letting the touch go as we get ready for some more silence.
Just taking the first few seconds of the bird song to reflect on the session so far. Maybe the different breathworks, maybe the senses you had in the different silences. And in our final segment of this breath sequence, I'm going to invite you to breathe into harmony, to breathe into coherence. And all that means in terms of breath style is that you breathe in and out through the nose, and that you match the length of the exhale to the inhale. So you're bringing complete balance to your breath. And you can do that by counting in your head if you wish. You can do it maybe by using your fingers, so bringing your thumb and each finger together, and using your hands to help you count. Or you can just use your own sense of time and just let your inhale tell you when it's time to become the exhale, and when your exhale tells you it's time to become the inhale. And it really is that simple. And what this breath does is just calms everything down. And maybe the music might help you with a beat. A beat is maybe strong. Maybe the music might help you with a pattern, and then you can just breathe along to the music. And if you can, just focus on the intention of harmony. Natural balance. And maybe with this breath, you might have a very small pause at the top and at the bottom of the breath. Or maybe you might be able to make that as tiny as you possibly can, so it feels like the inhale becomes the exhale and the exhale becomes the inhale. Be curious and see which feels best. Try them out. And maybe as you really settle and release into this breath, you might be able to extend your inhale and your exhale just a little and slow down even more. But no pressure, remember, no push, just a gentle response to the breath. We have 90 more seconds until we go into our final silence of this breathwork this evening. And as the silence beckons for the last time, this session, just allow all breath rhythms to fall away and rest in your natural breath. And as the birdsong brings us back for the last time, just take this last 2 minutes of the breath session to bring some gentle movement into your body, to really feel your connection with whatever is supporting you, bed, sofa, chair, floor. Just begin to feel that connection between yourself and the earth, yourself and the outside. Maybe move a little. Maybe clench and tense and then just release. Really begin to feel yourself landing back in the space where you are. If your eyes are still closed, just gently blinking them open and taking a look around. Noticing the textures, maybe the light has changed during the session. Remembering that you're not only in this nice cocoon with yourself, but that you're sharing the room with other people in the Zoom room. And just beginning to get ready to bring your attention back to that space of community. Maybe just having a sigh or two. A sigh feels really good at the end of a session, I find. So just on your next exhale, your next emptying, after you've done that, just breathing in through your nose. And then letting go with a sigh. maybe even bringing some noise in, if that feels good. Breathing in. And letting some sound out. Welcome back, everyone. In a moment, I'm going to stop the recording, but before I do, I just want to bring your attention to our links, which if you're watching this on record will be underneath, but if you're watching it in the room will be on the side. And we have an in-person retreat up in Malin at the very tip of Donegal that we'd love to invite you to. We have our deeper exhale workshops, 3 hours of breath work and nature exploration, and we'd also love to invite you to. And of course, we have the link to our directory listing if you would like to leave us a beautiful review and tell us how great you found this session. That would be amazing too. So on that note, I'm going to open up the sharing circle. So I'm going to stop the recording